It's time to name America's top state for business in 2019. Scott Cohn's going to join us now and pretend he's going to do it, and then probably you're going to come back next week and tell us the real state, or is this really it, Scott? I mean, honest to God.
We've milked it all we can, Joe. So yes, this is it, and there is a very serious study behind this, which we'll be talking about. So every state, all 50 states, are really put through their paces. So the state that emerges on top deserves a tiny bit of fanfare. So a drum roll, please.
Drum roll off.
The U.S. Army Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps. Have you figured out who it is yet? Let's have the top state for business named by one of this state's favorite sons.
Hi, I'm Wayne Newton, born and raised in Virginia. Now here's why Virginia has been named #1 state for business.
From the mountains to the sea. An American original and a business powerhouse.
Tonight, the celebrations have begun.
Amazon has found its next home.
Virginia was already a winner, beating out more than 200 bidders for Amazon's HQ2 project.
We were really excited by Virginia, what it had to offer. Probably the most important thing was the attraction of this place to talent, and particularly tech talent.
The numbers bear that out. Virginia has America's top workforce, smart and tech savvy, tied for the top in education, and #3 for business friendliness with a bipartisan program to cut regulations.
What functions very well in this state is government officials, business officials, local citizens groups. People talk to each other a lot.
When businesses large and small want to call Virginia home, that is a 1-2 punch for our economy.
But not all is perfect.
What do we want? Education! When do we want it? Now!
The governor's own history has helped revive questions about this state's inclusiveness. And then there are the cost, an expensive place to live and do business. For now, it's a price companies are willing to pay. This is Virginia's 4th win, but its first since 2011. The Old Dominion back on top. America's top state for business 2019.
And we are live at Shenandoah River State Park in Bentonville, Virginia. It is a beautiful setting on an important day. Where were we yesterday? Well, we were at the Jamestown Settlement in Williamsburg. It is a museum and a village, everything that is dedicated to recreating the first permanent English settlement in the U.S. Now, about those hints. Our lips are sealed? Well, chapstick was invented in Lynchburg. You knew that. Somebody else on Twitter said the CIA is here, too. That's not bad. Nuts to you. The first peanut crop in the U.S. was raised here in Virginia. Time of my life. A lot of people got this on Twitter. Dirty Dancing was filmed at the Mountain Lake Resort in Pembroke, Virginia, even though it was supposedly set in New York. Surfing USA, 70% of the nation's internet traffic goes through Loudoun County. And don't fear the Reaper, Cyrus McCormick, the inventor of the famous farm implement, born here in Virginia. Ralph Northam is the 73rd governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. We thank you very much for being with us today, and congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott. This is an exciting day for Virginia. You know, we want to make Virginia a place for families who want to come and live and work and raise their families, children, and enjoy our great quality of life. And what a beautiful morning this is on the Shenandoah River. What a backdrop. And, you know, one of the things you didn't mention is this is the 50th year anniversary of Virginia's for Lovers, and you can see why Virginia's for Lovers.
That's right, that famous tourism slogan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It is the first time that you've been top state since 2011, and it always seems to coincide with when defense spending is up.
Yes.
And that's been a theme in the state for a long time, that there may be too much reliance on defense spending. What are you doing about that?
You know, we've always relied on our military and government contracting, and we always will. But especially during sequestration, the government shutdown, we realize that we really have to diversify our economy. And so looking at high-tech jobs, looking at biotech jobs. Obviously, Amazon chose to come to Northern Virginia, which was a big win for Virginia. But to diversify the economy has been a top priority of ours.
It is an expensive state. We talked about that as well. High cost of living, high cost of doing business. Is there anything you can do about that, or is that just the nature of the beast?
Absolutely. And I think you can start with education and workforce training. We have great colleges and universities in Virginia. Actually, we're ranked #1 for our colleges and universities. We have frozen tuition for those. We have 23 great community colleges. We have a plan that we're getting ready to roll out called the G3, Get Skilled, Get a Job, and Give Back, which will allow Virginians to go to our community colleges without incurring any debt, putting a lot more emphasis on vocational and technical training at the high school level, really bringing skills to jobs for the 21st century workforce. Healthcare, obviously, is very important. Last year, we were able to expand healthcare to up to 400,000 working Virginians, so that was a big deal for Virginia. And affordable housing is something else that we have really worked on, and we put a historic amount of funding into our trust fund this year so that people could afford to live in Virginia.
You talked about at the outset making this a place where families want to come, where workers want to come. You had a rough start to this year, Governor.
Yes.
Your whole top leadership in the state had a rough start to this year. I don't want to necessarily relitigate all of that, but if somebody is looking to come to Virginia and they see that there were offensive pictures in medical school yearbooks in the 80s, it's not a long time ago.
Yes.
What's going on with this state's past? What have you learned out of all of this? What should people know about whether Virginia is an inclusive state?
Absolutely. The occurrences in February hurt Virginians, confused Virginians. I regret that. We didn't handle it as well as we should have. I have traveled around Virginia. I have listened and learned a lot. I still have a lot to learn, but the more I know, the more I can do. And as we sit here today, Scott, there are a number of inequities in our society, to include access to health care, access to education, access to the business environment, access to the voting booth. So we are really focusing on those inequities, and our cabinet members are addressing those. But, I want to let this country know, and certainly Virginians know, that we are an inclusive state. We welcome people to the Commonwealth of Virginia. Our lights are on, our doors are open. We're not only open for business, but we're doing business in Virginia.
Well, it's easy to say that you're an inclusive state, and you said you were going to dedicate the rest of your term to equality. What specifically have you done in the 5 months or so since all that blew up?
Well, last week, as an example, we signed an executive order to level the playing field for small minority and women-owned businesses. That's something that, small businesses, believe it or not, are about 97% of our economy. They're the backbone of our economy. So that was a real step in the right direction. A couple weeks ago, we were able to, on July 1, give drivers their licenses back. Over 600,000 Virginians who couldn't drive because they couldn't pay their court fines and fees. We're looking at the infant and maternal mortality rates in Virginia. So a lot of different inequities are being addressed. And as you said, I am committed to doing that for the next 2.5 years.
And now you have to top yourself as top state for business. Governor Ralph Northam, we thank you very much for being with us. Congratulations again. And let you know that you can see where your state ranks, see our whole study right now at topstates.cnbc.com. We will be having a lot more about this state and the other states and the bottom state all throughout this day. Let's hear once more from the old guard, Fife and Drum Corps.
I was going to ask Scott a question. Well, you looked that up. Where was Colorado? Because I thought it might be Virginia.
I didn't look at the full.
Colorado was not, or Virginia wasn't in the top 4, so I thought, well, maybe it'll be #1. But then I thought maybe it's Colorado, because Colorado's usually up there,
Yeah, it was
too.
up in the top 5 last year.
Yeah, all right. I like this.